Welcome to the Adventures of Adam, and welcome to episode 4 of Podforge. With me, I'm joined by Mr. Sneaky once again, and for the first time, Miss Hillary on the channel. Sneaky, you want to give a quick reintroduction of yourself for the folks who may not know you yet?
Yeah, no worries. Mr. Sneaky here. I cover normally city building games, but I do have my Mr. Sneaky Plays channel that has Godforge content and all the live streaming that I'm doing, including the Alpha Wave free push, which is going to be super exciting. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
And Miss Hillary, welcome to the channel for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Mrs. Hillary. I play Godforge mostly, obviously, as we're all here for the same thing. On my Twitch channel, just started sort of entering the world of YouTube. So you can find those linked in the podcast as well.
Yeah, I'll have them linked all over the place. In the title, in the description, pinned comment, all that stuff. Okay. So, Miss Hillary, the reason I wanted to talk to you in particular, and to a similar extent to you as well, Mr. Sneaky, I kind of wanted to talk about the perspective, or the Godforge from the perspective of a player who is either a casual in the genre or sort of new to the genre. And Hillary, I've heard you describe yourself as a casual player in the genre, and Sneaky, I know you're relatively new to it as well. So, just to kick things off, before we get into all the nitty gritty of that, who did you guys end up picking for Wave 2 as your starter? Hillary, do you want to start on this one?
I went with Ramsey. So when I signed up and was talking with Susie and figured out that I was going to get access to all 3 waves, I decided for the to better understand the game, I was going to do a different starter each wave. So normally I would be a tried and true kind of stick with Lady Zoc just because I love bleed mechanics and woman power. Like, I'm not going to lie. But so I went with Ramses for wave 2, and I'm going to be using Wanyu for wave 3. So
very nice. What about you, Sneaky?
Well, I went Guan Yu Wave 2. I think as you saw in my live stream, and you was quite impressed. I think we will probably talk about a little bit of it in this podcast too about it. But yeah, I went Guan Yu Wave 2 because I went Lady Shock Wave 1. For the same reason as kind of what Hillary said. New to the genre. Obviously play strategy games. So obviously learning as many mechanics as fast as possible, I think is the best way of doing it. So throwing myself in the deep end, try someone new is the best way of doing it, right? So yeah, I used Guan Yu. He pushed all the way past 120, which was great. So you got to think really good for a starter hero being able to actually get deep into these cavern experiences, especially if you're a complete scrub like me and new.
Yeah, it's pretty good. For wave 1, I took Guan Yu, and wave 2, I picked Ramses, and then I pulled Guan Yu almost immediately after. So I had both. I think for wave 3, I'm going to pick Guan Yu as well. I really liked him. I might call an audible and switched up at the last minute, but I really like Guan Yu. I like his aesthetic. I like the beard. I aspire to have a Guan Yu beard eventually. We're getting there slowly, but yeah, I think he's just cool, and I like the enemy max HP basic attack. Sneaky.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just jumping in on that. Like, I'm actually really excited to use Guan Yu wave 3, especially after watching some more like, obviously, Sneaky's gameplay and some of Ragewood's as well. I was like, oh, okay. He was sort of a creeper character in the back, I guess I would say, that I wasn't sure that I'd be super excited about, but I'm actually really excited to try him out.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on him a little bit because the ultimate damage isn't as much as the other two's ultimate damage. So for like wave clear, he's slightly less effective, but I do think he's like the premium boss killer. So I think that's where he kind of stands out. And as anyone who played wave 2 will know, once you hit 90 and 120, those are really hard roadblocks, and you got to kill the boss quick. So I think for that reason, Guan Yu is a a solid choice, even if he's not as proficient as clearing the waves. Sneaky. When I spoke to you last after Alpha 1, you said you got Aphrodite as your first legendary. Who was your first legendary for Wave 2?
Oh, good question. Who was it now? Because
Obviously, no one
as
too
you
crazy.
know,
You've forgotten
yeah,
already.
no, as you know, it's not even that. As you know, I went down the rare only route though for my
Right,
team.
right. Okay,
So
fair.
it wasn't one of the facts that like it was a super impactful hero because I'm pretty certain I got Hercules as my
Ah,
first hero, and I think I did just have a little bit of a play with him, for the first like 10 waves. But after that, I went, do you know what? We're gonna go rares only, and I literally just played rares only all the way up, which was really a different experience, as I can imagine you experienced the first alpha wave. So I wanted to test it out myself and see because, in wave one, playing with epics and legendaries, yeah, we had stupidly dumb but broken bugs, but it really did feel a bit more easier than it was obviously down the rare path. So I enjoyed the challenge. It was super fun.
nice. Who was your first legendary, Hillary?
For wave one, I had Odin. And then this wave, I got Hercules.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah,
How did
definitely had amazing RNG for wave two. Like, I'm sad because I know how RNG works, and it'll never show that good again.
how did you feel about Odin? I know a lot of people were a little underwhelmed by him, but did you feel like he was a good carry for Wave 1?
For wave one, he was fantastic for me. For me anyway. I made it to 120 for wave one. I made it there with I think it was worked out to about 12 hours left, and then I got home from work and pushed and pushed and pushed. Finally broke through 120, and I was like, okay, I gotta go to bed. And then when I woke up, Godforge was done for that wave. So this time around, I was actually able to complete the entire cavern, which was really exciting. I didn't find Odin underwhelming. I didn't have the chance wave one that I had wave two. But when I got him in wave two, I didn't use him because I wanted to try and get as much sort of idea of every character because I'd already kind of used him. So I didn't end up using him in wave two, but he really helped my account in wave one. So I didn't find him underwhelming.
That's good. Yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting him to be a damage dealer, even though he's clearly labeled as a disruptor. But like when you think about like Odin the Allfather and his ultimate is Ragnarok, like I think you just expect it to just kind of a little bit, you know?
Yes, I get what you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree because that was the one thing I think everyone sees in him. I think that's the issue. Everyone looks at him as a damage dealer, and because they see him as a damage dealer, they kind of look at him like, is he actually that good? Is he actually that useful? But when you use him, he is actually pretty good. Like for the fact that you're confusing these enemies really often, which is great. Obviously, charming as well, so you can just not take damage on the Odin, which is great. So you can keep getting these confused turns off. But even in like certain wave scenarios, like I've seen, I've forgotten who I was watching. I was watching someone do it. It was really funny. They was able to like do really good divinity management because then if you can divinity management in waves, his ult, if I remember correctly, when you use it, if their divinity hits 0, it just executes them, and if it's a
Yeah.
boss, it doesn't work. So that was like a really clever thing that you could do, but you don't again like see people trying to exploit that. I think because they expect him to be a DPS, so they're not trying him out as much as they should be.
Yeah.
But I think he is actually pretty solid, especially when you try him out. He's pretty solid as a crowd controller.
I don't think I ever got a chance to play with them. I did get Hell though. Speaking of confuse, I thought she was really fun. Like her ultimate, it revives all enemies, but then it puts confuse on them for 2 turns, which it kind of just works because then they just kill each other again anyway. Um, but yeah, like I found that for me, it felt like it took way too long for her to get her ultimate. But when she did, it hit pretty hard. Or yeah, because it hits and then revives, or maybe it revives and then I don't remember. But I didn't play with her for that long. Because I just found that some of the other heroes, like the rares, for example, get their ultimates way faster. So just being able to actually use the ultimate in battle was more effective than not, I guess. It was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that might need a little bit of tuning, but overall she was cool. But just because it took so long for her to get that ult, I felt she was a little underwhelming. So out of all the heroes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I agree with that. Because I tried myself, and like you said, with rares, I don't know what it is. Maybe they need to tone down just the divinity, maybe, of the heroes. Because I feel like the rares, when you look at rares, especially for me who played through them, even though the ultimate gauge going off so often honestly did carry me, it did feel a little bit overpowered compared to like a lot of the other like epic heroes and certain legendary heroes that you'd use their ultimate and you would be waiting as kind of like you expect them to be waited for and then get it, and then it's a massive impacting ult. But when you've got someone like Scotty, for example, like or even like Guan Yu, and even I'm guessing Ramses is another good example. I'm trying to think of another really good rare. Achilles did it as well. Not Achilles. Icarus did it as well. Really good examples of just heroes that are able to just charge their ult and just go bang, bang, bang. And it does feel like maybe if they wanted to tone down the rares in any way, that's the way you would tone them down. Because I don't think you should tone down the kits. The kits are actually like, I think, fairly tuned, especially when you compare it to like epics. Like people don't realize, yes, Skadi is the queen of CC in rares, but if you compare her to like Mordred, it's insane. Like Mordred's confuse is just next level. Same with even like Percival. Like so Percival was one epic I tested out later into Alpha Wave 2 that just caught me off completely guard. Like, because I wrote this guy off. I was like, look at this guy, like, look at Percy here, and he just rocks up and just goes, guess what? Full team stun. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry I doubted you for a second. And it happens every time when you use Percival as well. So it was just like, you can see that there is levels of like, maybe like consistency of crowd control. Because especially when you're running a Scary team, as you probably will know, like to get the maximum out of it, you do want heroes like Aphrodite or like Shamash that can really like combo her A1s to lock down multiple people, even if you don't have the A2, because that's what makes her powerful. But it's the enabling of it, right? It's not just her. It's the fact that you're trying to create that consistency. So I hope if they watch this, don't hurt the kit. just
I actually
the divinity.
wanted to touch on that because they actually mentioned it a little bit in the last podcast. They were talking about Brad kind of floated the idea of, are rares too good? And because what they noticed is people were graduating from rares straight to legendaries and skipping epics a lot of the time. But I think that's more a problem with how heroes are farmed in the alpha. Because like you can push to 80 or 90 with just rares, and then farm 80 overnight, wake up the next day and you have an account full of legendaries so that you can skip straight to legendaries. So I think for Alpha 3, I'm not going to farm any legendaries. I will get one on 30 and I will get one on 90. And I will use those ones if they're good, but I'm not going to like farm for legendaries. I'm going to try to force myself to use epics more for wave 3. I think that'll be more interesting for me as a player and for the audience to kind of highlight, more epic heroes. But I don't think they should tone down rares. Please, God, no.
Yeah, no, please don't.
I
think
think
great.
Go ahead, Hillary.
They are. They're fantastic. And let's be real, like you said, farmability. If you're not sitting there super farming champions overnight, level 75, then you are only getting 2 legendaries up until floor 120. Well, 1 until 90, etc. You're more apt to use your rares and your epics. I honestly, the only reason I didn't use epics was because by the time I'd overnight farm, I'd end up with the legendaries. So I don't know, maybe they look at how the drop rates, because right, like I was getting more legendaries dropping than I was getting epics. Um, so I think that's a big part of it too, is like that we're not aware of, because we've only seen the caverns, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day. So we have what we have available to us, which is rares get dropped left, right, and center. Epics I didn't find were a decent amount of drops. Like if I'm gonna farm, I'm gonna farm for legendaries. But you farm at the same spot anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So from Alpha 2, of all the heroes you played with, who did you find to be the most OP and the biggest game changer for your account? Do you want to start on this one, Sneaky?
um, are we talking with just the rares, or are we talking about afterwards when I did test out other heroes?
Of all
'Cause if
the
we're
heroes you
talking-
played with, everyone you tried out, who did you find to be the most compelling or the most OP?
it has to be Zeus. The hero's insane. Like in every regard. Like I know we have to make Zeus good, but this hero's too good.
The king
Like
of the
he is
gods.
obscene. I have never seen a hero that can just 1v infinite, it feels like. He's that good. Like
Yeah.
the only thing that's letting him down literally is that if you went to put him in a boss stage that you need maybe a pocket healer and something just to keep the shield on, and you're good to go. Like he will just do everything on his own then, like if you can keep him up, which is unreal. Like and the thing is like which was funny, which I think Rage would laugh at mentioning it, when we was in Alpha Wave 1, as you'll know, when we used Zeus, he had obviously the wrong ultimate text box. And a lot of people thought when I think I don't know if it was Simon or Chloe or I don't know who said it in the announcements that was saying, "Oh, this is a known bug. It's just they've got the wrong skill info." We thought the meant, "Oh, like that's the right skill, but he's using the wrong ability because this is just like super overpowered, having this always joint attacking as well." But no, it was the correct move. It was just the wrong text on the actual info screen, which was crazy to me. So yeah, I think out of any hero I got to play and have the pleasure with, Zeus has to be king. Like out of any of the heroes, like, and I would argue Pangu maybe a close second if you build him right and you're smart. But yeah, no, Zeus is just next level. He's insane.
Yeah. What about you, Hillary?
I'm gonna actually say Smash. I didn't have Smash on the first wave. And I did get Zeus. Zeus was my second legendary actually this time around. So I did play. Yeah, I played with Zeus a lot. I don't know if maybe I didn't have Zeus built properly, because I didn't find I didn't get from Zeus necessarily the same like OPness. And obviously, again, comes a lot of that comes from builds, right? And recognizing how to build champions better. But when I had Smash, like it just my account, it it, it did the things. I just pushed the button
I
and
know
it did the things.
I know that you said OP-ness, but it sounded like you said "oh penis." That's why I snickered, because I'm a child. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I
didn't
mean,
I didn't get a chance to play with Shamash. He was my most wanted. I got an imprint of him while overnight farming twice now, so I'm like, he dodged me twice. He looks really cool, but
yeah.
Zeus was
I played with him in
my
Wave
my
1.
OP one. Yeah, you like Shamash?
Yeah, no, in Wave 1 I did, yeah. I wouldn't say overpowered. I just think he's a really good offensive support. That's the way you play him. Because
Yeah.
the thing is with Shamash, even in wave 1 and wave 2, when you fight him, if you can freeze down the hero, he actually is useless. Like he's
Oh
the most
yeah.
useless hero on the squad. Like because if you freeze Shamash, which many people might not know, you can't trigger his passive. Like if he's frozen and you kill someone, he won't revive them. Like he physically can't do it with the frozen passive on, like from
Yeah.
Skadi or something. So it's really good to know that.
Yeah.
So he isn't actually that OP, like to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hillary's probably coming from the stance of like when you're using him, like
Yeah,
the joint attack on the core, so you don't have to wait for the ult, and then the passive revive, and then you also get the damage reflect, which seems really good. I don't know. I hope I can try him out in wave 3.
you'll like him, I think,
Yeah.
no matter what.
If I get him, who knows? So now I think we're gonna sort of transition more into why I've summoned you here today. Here are the perspectives of casual and new players to the genre a little bit. So, as a casual player to this genre, was there anything in particular that you had difficulty figuring out, or were most things pretty intuitive? Hillary, do you want to start on this one?
Gearing champs is my downfall. Whether it be this game, any sort of game, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around understanding the language that's used to and how to pull from their kits what type of like builds you want for them. So that's my big struggle. Outside of a basic like very fundamental attack DPS. You want crit rate and crit damage and attack. Like I get that. So that's my big hiccup is figuring out what builds I want, what stats I want on which champion. Um, that's my hiccups. And that's across the board. Which is why in my podcast, or when we did it with Fateless or Sneaky, I'd suggested to do similar to what Dragonair does, which would allow someone who doesn't understand. I don't want to say I don't understand because that makes me like sound like not even able to use my brain, but it's uh, it's just a struggle. It's something that just doesn't quite click in my brain. So it's how can I enjoy the game? How can I utilize these champs appropriately? Where and Dragonair is like, hey, here's you want these 3 points. These are your main stats. I think could be really beneficial to individuals that maybe are coming in from a game comprehension level at sort of where I am. I don't know if that makes sense,
No,
but
I totally makes sense. I do know that if you look at um the you click the details button on the tooltip
and
of
the
the
multipliers.
yeah, it'll kind of show you and kind of give you a hint, but that's only one piece of the puzzle. I did make a guide on how to gear your champion, so perhaps that could be of use to the folks out there if they're struggling. But yeah, it is something that until you have a really good grip of what everyone, because I mean you've got initiative, you got accuracy, resistance, speed, crit rate, crit damage, like there's so many different stats, and each hero class kind of needs their own thing. So I could definitely see how that could be a bit overwhelming. Was there anything else that you were just like, man, what the hell? Or did you feel like they did a pretty good job considering the lack of tutorials?
Considering lack of tutorials, I think they did a fantastic job making it wasn't there was a like obviously as you climbed it got harder, which is ideal for the game mode, which is ideal even as a player. I think we don't want it to get easier, right? Because that sort of takes the fun out of it. But that was my biggest sort of hiccup was gearing people properly. Like I said earlier with Zeus, right? Zeus didn't quite snap off like he should have because I didn't have him built properly.
I'll send you a link to my guide after this.
Don't you worry. I was creeping this morning. I'm like, okay, because I watched some of Ragewood's stuff too. He did his Build-A-Bear series,
Yeah,
so
I
I've
did.
been watching some of that.
Those are definitely a
But
lot more
I
in
have yours
depth.
ready.
I kind of just did like a surface level, this like trying to pop it off quick. But yeah, his are a lot more in depth if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. So it's very good to check his out too. What about you, Sneaky? As a new player to the genre, I know you played Braid a little bit, but these games are different at to some degree. Was there anything in particular that you struggled with when you first jumped in, or did you find it pretty intuitive for the most part?
The only thing, and I think everyone's at the same point, but I know it's going to get introduced later on anyway. I think it's might be even in wave 3, but I could be completely wrong. It's just obviously remembering all the debuffs and all the icons for the debuffs.
That's fair.
It's just that. It's something just simple as that, really. Obviously, I know they added in the small menu wave 2, which was good, so you could see all of the things. That's like a really good option. Obviously, I'd love to see that. Apart from that, I'm trying to think. As someone who's come into this genre, because it is a really good question. Because like, especially compared to the games that I normally play, maybe for someone like myself, I think the hardest thing, or maybe most difficult thing, as a new player, was actually maybe understanding not like maybe the speed side of things, but like the layering of your heroes. Like using this hero first to get the defense down. So then you can get another hero to put the attack up. So then your nuker at the end of the chain is going to hit as hard as possible.
Yeah,
Like,
they call that
stuff like
speed tuning is what they refer to that as. But yeah, okay.
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like that type of stuff is probably the nuance for me, and probably maybe like even for Hillary. Like learning that curve is quite difficult because it's like, yeah, I can maybe go first and deal damage first, but is it really worth it if I didn't put any of my buffs on? Like, it's such a simple, maybe easy question to ask yourself at first, but it doesn't come across that easy to pick up. And especially when you're, using certain heroes that really care about, for example, maybe like if there's a confuse on the target, or if you can place taunt onto the target, so you can get the war triggers, like on Musashi, for example. Like, there's loads of really good examples of heroes that really do care about things in certain orders. So that's probably for me, the most difficult part, maybe to learn. And I'm still obviously learning that, right? As someone in the genre. So
I remember when I first started playing Raid, I had been playing for about a week, and then I finally got the character that you get for free called Shaman. She's not particularly good, but at the time she was good for my account because I remember she would attack and then put increased crit rate on everybody. So in my head is like, oh, if she goes before my Kale, I could gear my Kale with like 85% crit rate, and then so like I get exactly, I remember that epiphany moment, like, oh, I just need to make sure she's faster than my hero, my starter hero. But that's because that's an interesting point, because not only are you gearing the heroes, you want to make sure you've got enough speed, enough initiative, enough crit rate, whatever, but then you also, it's like the next step up is do all those things, but make sure this hero has less than hero, or this hero has less than this one, and then this one has less than this one, and this one has less than this, so they go in the right order. That's an interesting point. I that's something I completely take for granted, just because I've been doing this for like 5.5 years at this point. So it didn't even occur to me. That's a really interesting point.
Let me give you a perfect example of my understanding of game mechanics grow like throughout the ages. I fed my Haikatoon.
That's like my girlfriend in Raid. She's my favorite.
And my then husband, well, he is my husband now, but at the time we weren't married yet. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, just let me play my game. I'll play it the way I want. And 3 years later with no Haikatoon, it was. I don't know how I'm still here, to be honest. Like every roadblock, every possible like mistake I made in raids. So slowly learning, licking my wounds from that whole experience of feeding High Katoon. So I now understand the importance of speed.
I could actually one up you on that a little bit. On my first account, the first void shard I ever pulled was a seer. And if for those of you who may not play Raid, seer is like the ultimate premier end game damage dealer. Like she could instantly one shot entire waves of enemies. And I got her as my first epic. But in order to one shot the enemies, she has to remove the buffs from her allies. And the more buffs you remove, the more it increases her damage output. So you stack her up with like a bunch, again, speed tuning. You have your buffers go first to put out a bunch of buffs and then debuffers to decrease defense. And then boom, she strips all the buffs and nukes. Well, when I was reading her kit, I was like, wait, are you telling me she removes all of my buffs? What a trash champion. So I used her as a 4-star chicken, this like elite end game ultimate damage dealer. I just used her as a chicken to rank up my kale to 5-star because I was too impatient to farm the food. So don't feel bad about High Katoon.
High Katoon, I think, got my El Hain to a 6-star or my Deliana to a 6-star or something. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's done it at some point, so don't feel bad about that. But lesson learned, right? We're not going to be doing that in Godforge.
No, exactly. I went pure aesthetics. I was like, because it was looking back, like my first few streams, I don't even know how I got here, to be honest. Like I want to cry just thinking about it, of like how stubborn I was with because my husband, very similar to you, Adam, very long-term gamer, especially gacha gamer, min-max to the sky. And I don't like being told what to do.
Speaking of
looking
that,
back,
go ahead, finish. Go ahead and finish up.
I was just saying, so it'll be it's been a big learning curve this time around to be able to ask for help is another big thing, and not be just own that I don't know. Don't try to fake it.
Speaking of asking for help, this is something I wanted to talk about. When I tuned into one of your live streams, I noticed that Zavarok was in your chat helping you out quite a bit. And if you guys don't know, he's one of the mods on the. Recently became a mod on the Fateless Discord server. But he's a big brain gacha gamer too. Do you think if it wasn't for him, you would have been able to figure everything out as easily as you did, or would you have been completely lost?
Wave 1 completely lost. Wave 2, he was sort of, definitely, because I wouldn't have been as successful in Wave 2 had I had him and Ragewood too jumped in, and Sneaky helped me out, and like I think everybody who jumped into a live stream at one point or another was like, "What are you doing?" and that's it. That's who I am, and I don't mind the help now that I understand that it's okay to ask for help.
Exactly.
But definitely would not have been as successful Wave 1 or Wave 2 without Save. So, huge shout out.
Yeah, good job, Zav.
Huge shout out to Zav.
Sneaky, did you have any secret guardian angels lurking in your chat?
Not really, apart from if you want to call Chloe a guardian angel, or
definitely not
the devil in disguise.
Yeah, that's
staring the trouble what she knows.
Also,
obviously,
hi Chloe. In case you're
Chloe. I know you're gonna be watching this.
In case you're watching in the
Jesus Christ,
in the premiere chat.
Apart from maybe like you and like Ragewood. Trying to think who else. There was I can't remember his name. There was one guy as well. A big shout out to him. You'll know who I'm talking about because he was one of the guys that like were testing bugs, and even like I jumped into VC for a bit, and he was in the VC as well with it all. So you'll know what I'm talking about because he was literally he was communicating because I didn't really do too much VC work. So I was obviously on live streams a lot more often.
Is he one of the moderators or just a community member?
I think he is one of the community members.
Okay.
He's like, he was one of the main decent testers. Like finding out like the Dracula bug, for example, and we were trying to figure out how to fix the Dracula bug. So there was quite a few of us in that group chat, at different stages of it all. So they'll know who I mean exactly when with that.
Yeah. Okay. Off the top, I didn't spend a lot of time in voice chat because I was usually working for most of Wave 2. And when I wasn't working, I was trying to make content. So I'm obviously not going to be listening to voice chat. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Aside from the bug fixes, do you think you can name one thing that you would want Fateless to change about Godforge moving into launch? Hillary, do you want to start on this one?
To be honest, the only right now, like I really have a lot of faith in Fateless on how they're going to roll out everything. I don't think, um, I have a lot of faith in them and what they're going to do. I think they've really grasped um, everything for whether it's coming from a new player to an experienced player. There's little qualities of life that I'd like gear filtering. I can't wait to filter gear to get rid of all that junk gear. But that comes with full release, and I recognize that that's just not an important part of the game mode right now. So that's really the only thing I'm kind of waiting for, um, is to be able to get rid of a lot of crappier gear a lot quicker.
I
And
didn't
gearing,
even I didn't even bother selling gear because it was such a hassle. I was like, you know what, it's just gonna live on my account forever because I can't be bothered to go through one at a time. But I do know that is something that they have stated they will have in the future, but they just didn't have time for it. Yeah. What about you, Sneaky?
exactly.
I don't know if I would change anything. I'd like to see something interesting added. It'd be quite fun because I don't think Hillary's seen it yet, but obviously we've been playing the new Destiny game, and in the Destiny game, you have your wolf pack, which is like our version of alliance or guilds. And what's kind of cool about it, and I didn't think I would like it as much I've actually loved it, is the fact that your alliance hall actually has a hall. So you can go to the hideout and you spawn in a building, and it's kind of cool, you know. And I'm not saying this game is gonna have any sort of like 3D models or all like that, and you'd be able to move around and stuff. But yeah, it was weird how you was able to go into like this hideout and you can build your own base. I could actually like build up your base and upgrading. You as an alliance are working together to build this base. So I'm not saying like I would love to see Godforge being able to like, you could be low key walking around a base. I'm not saying do that, but it'd be cool to maybe add some sort of way that guilds could, as you're working together, you are building maybe some sort of, I wouldn't say building, but you know what I mean? Like some sort of thing together. Like you are working together to achieve this one thing, not just have like clan bosses and that's basically it. That's what most people have most of the time. So
I do know that at some point I feel like Sham has stated that they want to have lots of ways for players to cooperate with each other. We don't have a ton of information on what exactly that means. Maybe we can have a chance to ask them in the future. Maybe they'll let us know closer to beta. That was actually an interesting thing about bringing up something like to add. Is there anything you'd like to add, Hillary, that you didn't see?
Yeah, I think, and I kind of mentioned it before when we were talking our last podcast, the ability, I think it was Infinite Magic Raid, you could actually borrow a champ from someone in your guild, or and I think friends. I think you could have friends and a guild, but you could borrow a champ for, let's say, I'm really hard stuck on 120. I could borrow my guildmate's Pangu, and I didn't have to build it. I don't have to do anything. It's literally a plug and play. This champion is part of my team for, I think you got like X number, like it's very limited. Obviously, it's not on here just to the wayside, and you only get to use it for, I think you can use each champ like 3 times or something. So there's still that no free for all for it, but you could still select borrow a champion, especially like when we're looking at 2-starring. Certain, like if you're going for stars and you need a certain champion to finish off that wave, to be able to kind of borrow that champion from someone else, finish that particular mission, and then continue on. So I think that's something that I'd like to see if that's something they can figure out. I
Yeah,
think that'd be cool.
that does sound cool. I think Girls Frontline 2 actually had a feature like that, if I'm recalling correctly. I didn't engage with it a lot. I only played that game for about 2 weeks. But it was cool that it was there. Like I took advantage of it, and it was pretty helpful, especially in PvP. But yeah, I don't know. Because it would use the gear they had equipped too. So I was, that game has been out for a long time, and so everyone in my clan was like way more advanced than me. So like when I borrowed someone else's hero, it was like they were like end game on my, I was like using an end game. But yeah, it was kind of cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of city builders, right? Like if you're in an alliance, you're trying to build something, or the ones I've played anyways, you can ask your alliance for help, right? And your alliance will jump in and speed things up for when you're stuck on a time constraint. So the ability to actually utilize those guilds or packs and friendships that you've built in these games. Use it to an advantage. Let's reinforce that community mindset, I guess, is
Yeah,
kind of where I'm coming from.
that's feedback I've seen a lot in Discord lately. Is people are hungry for those more social interactions, way to engage with your clan and your guild. So yeah, that's certainly one way to do it. I think I already made a video about what was
I've
that?
got a question for you.
Yeah,
I've
go
got
ahead.
a question for you if you wanted to answer. It's up to you. To do with I want to say it was your last episode with, was it Aragon? The story, the lore, the whole with Ragewood, right?
Yeah.
Obviously during that podcast you dive into like the Scion, right? That's us, right? Obviously playing off my idea earlier, say about building a base or whatever, like, or building your own guild base. Do you think Fateless gonna try to do what maybe Dragonair's done, where the Scion is something you make, so you make yourself, and maybe you don't have any stats, and maybe you don't have anything like that, but for the terms of story, it means it's a little bit more personal, and then maybe they can figure out, like I said, maybe guild stuff, and that is your models in these social hubs, for example. Like, do you think they're going to be going down that route, or do you think maybe they're not going to go down there because of maybe the time it will take to obviously add in something like that?
There is nothing that I have seen that makes me believe that they're going to go that way. However, I do think it would be interesting. One thing that I thought of, this is an idea I had way early on, and I don't think they're going in this direction, but in Raid Shadow Legends, we have the Great Hall. And it's an area where you advance an arena to get points, and you invest those points into it, and then by doing so, it gives you a stat boost everywhere. I thought it would be really cool if they were to do something like that at Fateless, where instead of a Great Hall, it was your character, and then you could unlock upgrades for your character. It's like a chess piece does this, gives, or whatever it is, like your heroes take 5% less damage in battle, or you get a sword that says like increase crit damage of your heroes by like 25% or whatever.
I like that.
So like you're equipping gear onto your hero that's giving you account wide boosts, similar to how the Great Hall does it. I thought that would be really cool, but that's how I thought they were going to handle weapons, because like this was me speculating like a year ago. Like that was my theory on how they were going to implement, because they mentioned they were going to do weapons in a way that hasn't been done in another game before. So it's like, ooh, maybe, that was just my thoughts
I
and
actually like that
theories.
idea, dude. That, and again, like almost combining the ideas together. It's like that would be cool. Like imagine you as the Scion, you make your character, you get to design how they look, for example. And yeah, they're not going to be able to use them in battles, but as you said, maybe doing dungeons, doing raids, doing anything in game, your Scion is your global stat stick, like for everything, which would be really cool because then maybe later down the line they do think of, do you know what? We like these social hub ideas because you see it in like Warframe and you see it in like I would say Destiny Mobile now, and we've seen like a lot more social space hubs where people can just go into and chill out, fish if you want to fish, and so on. So yeah, um, that's me though. I know everyone doesn't like that type of stuff, but I think it's really cool.
I know in AFK Journey you could do that. Like it was one of those games where you actually have a character where you're moving around in open space, and when you can go into the clan hall and you can see your clan members running around the clan hall if they happen to be there as well. It's kind of fun just to say hi to like clanmate, like, hey,
Yeah.
oh hey, what's up? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so this is the last question I had prepared for you guys, but if you want to keep chatting for a little bit, we can. But this is something I wanted to ask. So, in your opinion, what are some of the best things that they're doing in the alpha that you'd like to see carry over to launch? Do you want to start on this one, Hillary?
Best thing. I mean, I think I just I honestly truly believe I've said it already, but I really think that they've nailed it. They're really listening to player feedback. They are like you can see, it wasn't just reporting bugs. It was they listened to frustrations. They listened to hiccups. They they're hanging out in content streams. They're watching they're they're individuals that enjoy playing games. So they are, yes, obviously we could sit here and talk about do they want to make money? Of course, who doesn't want to be successful and invest and get payoff from that investment? Of course. But I can tell that there's a genuine care for the player quality and enjoyment of the game. And I think that's really going to rub off continued as we see more expansion and more into the actual game. I think it's really good that they're so open to suggestions and feedback and player optimization.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And to echo that sentiment, I made a video, and this kind of calls back to the last topic we were talking about. I made a video where I was sort of ranting a little bit about the gold tax for leveling up heroes, and after that, I saw Hell Hades watching one of Ragewood's streams, and we had a little chat in the live stream chat, and he said he forwarded my feedback to the economy team. Now, whether or not they're able to change it is still yet to be discerned, but the fact that I input my feedback, Hell Hades listened, forwarded it to the people who have the capacity to fix it if they're going to fix it. Like, it's just cool to feel like your concerns have been heard. Like, and it's not just falling on deaf ears. Like, it took Plarium 7 years to do something about their gear removal cost, and people have been screaming at the rooftops for like, I don't know. I just thought that was really neat. What about you, Sneaky?
Well, I've been thinking about it, but then obviously then Hillary stole it, which was really good. The communication. So I'm there thinking like, what can I say? What can I say? So the thing, obviously, I like it. Obviously, is the cavern experience. I like obviously the way it's formatted. I could be a bit. Can I be a bit more selfish maybe in the one I pick?
Absolutely.
So the
No.
thing I actually, it's technically being selfish, but not being selfish at the same time. And I think you guys would understand what I'm going to say when I say it. But I really do like the way that they are really promoting the content creators, though. Like, if you've been a content creator like myself, and you know, at any level, you will know that you've spoken to devs and you've played, you know, with devs and you've communicated with vice versa. You've done the whole shebang. But then when you deal with Fateless, like you said, they listen to you, but then they'll promote your videos, they will promote you on all their social medias, they'll come into your obviously streams, they will raid you obviously on the official like Hail Hades site. So like it showcases not just like the philosophy of we need to make a great game. Like Fateless really does embody the fact that they want to make a great community, and they are like pushing that even with their creators. Like they are pushing the game by, you know, trying to create a great game. They are pushing the community by listening and doing what the community is saying. And I feel like they're pushing the content creators because they are supporting them and giving them opportunities that you just don't even see in other games, like so early on. Like as you'll know, like the creator codes, like really everyone says whenever you play a game, where's the creator codes? And there's no creator codes, and you're like, why? Like help the creators and get them going, right? And help the game too at the same time. So I really do think that would be the thing I would say don't change, because I think it's been, I think, as you'll say, like a pleasure being a content creator for them and being able to make content and play the game and see the support that they're able to provide you as well compared to anywhere else.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm buying their merch. Store.fateless.gg, discount code Adam10 at checkout for 10% off your orders, by the way. Speaking of creator codes. Yeah.
My hoodie is in the wash. It's not fair. But I have ordered the alpha test hoodie that is out right now.
Yeah.
I was so sad when that all came out. I was like, man, if I'd known, I would have waited. Just because I don't know about anyone else, but shipping right now in the world is a little deadly.
Yeah.
So I would have waited had I known that there was the official tester merch coming out. I would have waited, but I mean, I love my Fateless shirt. I love my gauntlet, and eventually I will have merch left, right, and center.
She'll be
But,
gilded and fateless.
yeah, I think I agree though. Like I think we've all really the importance of community in these games, and Fateless recognizes that, and I think it's really important that they're communicating. Yeah, you know, like to be asked to be on a podcast for Fateless, like I'm a nobody and I'm okay with that. And so it was, you know, they're listening and they're talking to content creators, whether you're a large scale content creator or a small scale content creator, just starting, been doing it for years. Like they want everybody's information. They want not information, but opinions, and they're taking that feedback seriously, and you can tell that. And I think that is going to move mountains for them, as a company
Yeah.
alone, because you're going to have people want to play the game, to support the game as a content creator.
If I didn't believe wholeheartedly in this project and the team behind it and their vision and where I see them heading, I wouldn't volunteer all of my free time to help moderate their Discord. You know, like I'm doing that just because I'm passionate about what they're doing. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful place to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll have all their channels and information linked down below where you can find them. But anyway, thanks. That's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you all in another video soon. But until next time, everyone, take care.
Oh, penis.